Hello, and welcome to another episode of Market House. My name is Caleb.
And I'm Caitlyn.
And we are excited to be back here with episode number 40.
That's so exciting.
Right?
I love it.
Yeah, making some milestones over here. But it's been a good week, other than the oppressive heat.
I know.
We mentioned this last week. We probably sound like a broken record at this point, but it was 107 yesterday. It's like 104 today. Mm-hmm. And it's over 100 degrees for the next like 5 days.
It's toasty.
It's, yeah, you can say that. Yeah. I'm getting real tired of it. So we're pretty much been locked indoors because you don't want to do anything outside. And if you don't know the Sacramento area, which most people probably don't, it's not really a big tourist destination unless you work for the state of California. It cools down at night, which is like the cool thing about the area, right? Some places when it gets to 100 degrees, it's like 100 degrees all day, or it's still like 80 degrees at night. Here, it's like it can be 105 degrees at noon, and then it can be 65 degrees at like 9 p.m. That's the crazy thing, right? The I don't know, cool breeze comes in and cools everything down, but it hasn't been doing that because it's so hot and there's no wind, and it's just hot all day. Mm-hmm. And I'm tired. Yeah. The AC's been on 24/7.
It'll get better.
Yeah, I know.
Right in there. We're just going to think fall happy thoughts.
Exactly, which hits in December.
Here, it's like, it's after Thanksgiving. Normally it gets cold. So
it's so dumb.
We have a ways to go, but you know what? Even if it's 90 degrees outside, I'm still going to be burning my pumpkin candles in September and pretending it's freezing cold
Shorts
outside.
and a tank top,
exactly.
But celebrating Halloween.
Yeah.
But really quick, before we dive in, though, let's say happy birthday to Disneyland. We're recording on Disneyland's 67th birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Doesn't look a day older than 66.
Okay.
She's a new girl still. But
she is.
Yeah, no, she's still looking pretty. Love that place.
I know.
Since we, pretty much structured our life around it.
Seriously. We were just talking about that the other day, how Disney, it's ironic because some people are like, how do you like Disney so much? And you're like, what? Like, people just don't get like how obsessed we are with Disneyland. Like, it's truly like our second home.
And it's hard to explain because it's just, there's a certain kind of magic.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when you experience it as a young kid and it doesn't get old.
Yeah. And again, we went there when we were dating, and now we're like, so it's just a long time of just Disney memories compacted. So again, we love doing this. This is so much fun for us. So we're glad you're here.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
All right. Before we dive in, one more thing. Consider leaving a review and rating over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yes, please.
That'd be a great help. Just let us know what you think about the show. Hopefully it's good things. If not, that's okay. But at least you'll let us know. So let us know over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify your thoughts on the show. And share it with a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you just like, you know what? There's these two kooky kids over in Sacramento talking about Disney all day. I think you'd enjoy it. Do that. Send it over to them using your cellular device.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate that.
That'd be cool. All right. Let's dive into the news.
First up, we have some really sad Disneyland news. The Disneyland Forever fireworks show and Main Street Electrical Parade is coming to an end on September 1st.
Boo.
So I have to say, the Main Street Electrical Parade, I'm kind of like, I love it, but I'm also like, I'm kind of done. I'm kind of done with it. But the Disneyland Forever fireworks show is what? Stop. Okay, let me rewind. The Disneyland Forever fireworks show is seriously one of my favorite nighttime spectaculars.
It's the best. And
I'm really sad about that. Now, I'm thinking they're getting rid of it because they're making way for Halloween and all that that comes with it.
Well, yeah, that's what my mind went straight to that, which is like, okay, the timing aligns with Halloween, but why make it news if they're not going to bring it back? So maybe when it comes to normal, so get past the holidays, right? It's going to be a Halloween fireworks show, then a Christmas fireworks show, and then come January.
They'll bring it back, I'm
assuming. I don't know. Or no, I don't think they would be news if they announced it was going away. They don't announce, right?
I don't know. I don't really understand why they brought it back for like a couple months.
Because it's a really, really old show.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they brought it back for like, hey, fireworks are coming back. Let's bring back a nice nostalgic show. Because what they replaced it with is Mixed Magic. And no one likes that show because there's no fireworks.
But what about the electrical parade? What was the sense in that?
I think it was for, again, I think they brought it all back because it was, I don't know, just the park was closed for over a year.
And come to the park, basically. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, anyway, those will be leaving as of September 1st, which is a bummer. But again, there'll be more exciting things coming, I'm sure. So
hopefully Paint the Night comes back. That's what the
gosh,
people want.
I cannot wait. I want that to, but again, that's not going to come back during holiday time. So hopefully, Disney, if you're listening, bring it back. Favorite show.
All right, next up is kind of a repeat of what we just talked about, but we did already mention Disneyland's 67th birthday, and with that comes some fun, exciting new things. First one, the red car trolley has finally returned over in Disney's California Adventure. That is that mode of transportation that goes up and down Carthay. Nope, not Carthay Circle. Buena Vista Street. That's what it's called. Goes up and down that and in Hollywoodland, and is just a fun, slow ride that's supposed to look like the San Francisco
red car trolleys.
Yeah, trolley thing. So that's fun. I know people have wanted that back, kind of an iconic part of that park. And then secondly, you've got some, of course, it's not a Disneyland celebration without snacks and treats and all those being limited availability. So we've got some limited time snacks and treats available at the Disneyland Resort for the next, I think, only few days. I think some of them are available the 17th through the 20th of July. So by the time this is coming out, they're pretty much almost done.
Yeah, so it looks like over in the Grand Californian Holiday Cart, which is normally, for those who don't know, in the lobby of the hotel, there's a little like cart on the side where normally the gingerbread house is during holiday times, and then it's right by the big fireplace. They have some really interesting and really delicious looking treats, if I might add. One being a Mickey short sugar cookie, a birthday cake s'mores cookie, a birthday cookie box, and a birthday cake push pop, which is cake and like frosting with sprinkles and like, you know, like the old ice cream push pops.
Yeah.
It looks like that, but it's cake. It looks really good.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. That looks bizarre.
I think it looks great.
Okay. It looks a little weird. They got a Mickey-shaped chocolate donut. You can go over to, let's see here. There's a million things. I'm not going to get to all of it. They've got, for a limited time, you can get, at Red Rose Tavern, you can get Walt's chili cheese fries, which looks pretty good. If you want an upset stomach at Disneyland, this is the fast track ticket to getting that.
Yum.
It looks a little heavy, but looks good.
Looks delicious.
You can get a birthday Mickey ear hat bowl over at Gibson Girl. You can get, there's a million things. I'm not going to go down the list, but if you want the exhaustive list, go over to Disney Parks blog, and they'll give you all of the details for those Disney snacks.
All right, and next up, we have some sad news again over in Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
I'm like the bearer of sad news today.
Seriously.
The Tower of Terror sign that was installed in the late 1990s was just removed on July 14th.
Yeah.
That makes me so sad.
Yeah, it's been there a long time. And again, we've only been to Disney World a few times together. And again, it's not as like, I think, nostalgic for us, or like when we see it, we're like, oh, cool. It's a Tower of Terror sign. And it used to move. When we've been going, I don't think it moved.
No.
Yeah. So it used to have this effect where, you know, the elevator was dropping and there were some noises to it. So I think when it first came out, it was probably like awesome. Over the years, they haven't kept it updated, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I get it to a point. And I'm upset for the people over in Disney World because this is probably much more sentimental to them, right? And important. But when I look at it, I go, there's no other sign that shows off a Disney World attraction. That's the only one other than the Disney World entrance sign, right?
Okay.
So I think it was made to advertise a new ride, right, in the 90s when this was first built. That makes sense. But the fact that I just wouldn't expect that to be a thing that's there forever.
See, I'm going to play the complete opposite. I think it was totally nostalgic having it there. And even though it's advertising that ride, who doesn't like that ride? First of all.
I get that.
And it's such a cool thing to see when you're going into Hollywood Studios, like seeing that in the middle of like the grass, like the greenery in the middle between the two highways.
Yeah.
Highways, technically?
Pretty much. They
roadways.
Like yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was, every time I saw it, like the first time we went there, I was so excited to see that.
It's cool.
Because again, on our side of the coast, we don't have Tower of Terror anymore. We have Guardians. Mm-hmm. So the fact that that little piece of nostalgia is there, now it's gone, it kind of makes me sad.
I got it. But you know what? It's being replaced with, ready? Landscaping. How exciting is that? I don't know. It's very vague. It's like we're replacing it with grass.
Would you rather have landscaping or the Tower of Terror sign?
Good point. Good
right?
point.
All right.
But again, let's just play Disney's side. They're like, hey, we've got this sign that doesn't really serve our purpose anymore. This ride's been around for 30 plus years. We don't really need to advertise it anymore. And it only breaks down every other week. It's just a money pit for them, probably.
But I'm also like, why waste money in getting rid of it? Just leave it alone.
Caitlyn.
I know.
I don't know why.
I love this sign if you can't tell.
Gee whiz. Okay, well, I am in the minority, I guss, in this one. And people want that Tower of Terror sign back.
It's not coming back.
It's not coming back.
No.
It's grass now. Sorry, people. All right. That brings us to another edition of Disney Trivia with Caleb
and Caitlyn.
Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Oh, man. All right. Let's get into this trivia. Let's see if I can stump you this week. Last week, I think I cleaned up. I think I got both right. And I think you got one right.
I think so. But
okay.
I have some hard ones this time, so good luck.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Let's go ahead and start then. I think last week you started. So I'm going to go ahead and start off this time.
All right, perfect.
And ask you a couple questions. So let's get into that. All right, Caitlyn. Your first question is, which Disneyland ride opened first? The Matterhorn bobsleds or It's a Small World?
Okay.
Think. It's a tough one.
Okay, so I know Disney brought out Small World for the World's Fair. So I'm going to say that happened obviously not on like opening day time. I could be wrong. I feel like Matterhorn was there prior to It's a Small World. So I'm going to go Matterhorn.
Dang.
Am I right?
You're right. I thought I was going to stump you on this one.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to look at old pictures. And I'm like, I feel like Matterhorn would have been there. And then when did the World's Fair happen after Disneyland opened? When was that?
So let me tell you. So Matterhorn bobsleds opened in the summer of 1959.
Okay.
The Small World ride first debuted at the World's Fair, you're correct, in 1964.
Oh, wow.
So it ran there for a couple of years and then landed at Disneyland in 1966.
Yay.
You're
okay,
right.
perfect.
So 7-year
Awesome.
difference there, which when I think of Small World, I think of like, super nostalgic old ride, right? You think of Walt and that opening ceremony where all the kids were there. So I don't know why. I thought that was going to stump you. I would have guessed probably It's a Small World.
Okay, so the only reason why I somewhat knew that answer is because of the Tomorrowland movie. Where they're at World's Fair and Disneyland's already like kind of established.
George
and
Clooney.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, it has to be Matterhorn.
All right. I respect that. Okay. Your second question is, if I can pull it up here. What was the first new land added to Disneyland after opening? So what was the first new land that opened in Disneyland after its opening
Okay.
lands?
Oh, gosh.
Think of the non-original, right? So like Frontierland was there, Fantasyland was already there, Main Street, Adventureland.
I'm going to say Critter Country.
Oh, that is incorrect.
Or like New Orleans Square.
New Orleans
That's
Square.
what dang it. That's what I meant to say.
That was added in 1966. The next edition was Critter Country.
I don't know why I said that because obviously
That's
you have to
all
have
right.
New Orleans Square.
I know.
I meant New Orleans Square.
Darn. Okay, so you got 1 for 2 this week.
Okay, that's pretty good. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid.
Are you ready for mine?
I think I'm ready.
Okay, so right now, Caleb knows this because I've been talking about it all week. I listened to a old podcast episode with Provost Park Pass on Disneyland or Haunted Mansion secrets or stuff that we didn't know kind of thing. And I've been obsessed with Haunted Mansion like all week. Like it's all I've been thinking about. I've been wanting just to listen to podcasts on it. So my questions are Haunted Mansion themed. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So first up, how many speakers does each Doom buggy have?
How many speakers?
How many speakers
So, okay.
does each Doom buggy have?
What a weird question.
I know.
I'm going to go,
I thought it was interesting.
yeah, I'll go, I want to say 2, but I have a feeling that's like not it. I'll go 3.
What the heck?
What?
You're right.
Am I right?
3.
Okay. So I'm assuming there's 1 in the middle and then 2 on the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting though because I'm like, that's something you don't think about. I don't know why. I'm like,
No.
obviously, there's a speaker in the Doom buggy, but I'm like, oh, maybe it's just 1.
All
I'm
right.
like, oh, 3. Wow, that's great. Good job.
Thanks.
That's perfect. Okay, this one's cool. I was excited to ask you this one. How many Doom buggies are there in the Haunted Mansion?
How many?
How many?
Oh, come on.
This is
Do
just
I have
a
options or just a guesstimate?
I can give you options. Do you want me to?
No, I mean, I have no clue. That's what?
Okay, let me get. Okay, I'll give you some options.
Okay.
82, 100, 217, or 131.
Okay, so 82, 83, 100, 200 something.
217,
Okay.
or 131.
Oh, good grief. Let's go. That is such a random. Let's go 131. It just feels very exact.
Yes.
Is it right?
131.
Okay, all right.
Can you believe that? There's 131 Doom
I
buggies.
can, only because of that Omnimover design, and that thing's just flowing. I mean, that thing flows for minutes with empty. Does that make sense, I guess? You know?
Yeah, I thought there'd be more than that. Because you got to think that it's an Omnimover. That's how you say it. That is all throughout the entire ride, not just your loading area, obviously.
Sure.
So you got to think how, and they are just so compacted.
Yeah.
But yeah, 131.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
2 for 2 again this week. You can't beat me in Disney trivia.
No.
It's too good.
Yeah, it's
too good to
annoying.
stump.
I'm going to do like some harder ones.
The all-knowing oracle.
I'm going to be like, what was Walt Disney's favorite color?
Duh, everyone knows that.
What?
I'll tell you next week.
Okay. Be like, let me look it up really quick.
Google's my favorite, my best friend. All right, thanks again for joining us this week for Disney Trivia. All right, so that brings us to our main segment of this week's episode, and that is our likes and dislikes of recent Disneyland changes. I said that kind of weird, so let me go back and explain that again.
Okay.
So think of recent Disneyland changes. Let me give you a example. Turning Aladdin's Oasis into, what's it called?
Tropical Hideaway.
Tropical Hideaway, right? Or changing the brick on Main Street from one color to another. Or the Tomorrowland entrance, right? Taking down those rocks and just making it a wide open pathway. So just kind of minor touches. I'm not saying openings, right? Like the opening of Galaxy's Edge does not count as a change. That's an addition, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, let's think of in the recent years that we've been frequenting the park, what are the changes that we both like and dislike at the Disneyland Resort?
Okay.
And just talk about them.
Sounds fun.
Say we both developed our own little lists here. Mm-hmm. And no specific number, just kind of like, just think of them.
Yeah.
And let's just chat.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just share it with the world.
Yeah, and let us know if, again, when you hear our list, if we've missed anything that you're like, hey, do you remember this? I'm very interested because this was actually kind of fun going back in time to remember what they've changed and what they've kind of redone to make.
Yeah, because some that were made, you're like, I couldn't imagine any other way.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely let us know.
All right, so I'll start with the first one.
All right, perfect.
So these are likes. Let me go of the Disneyland changes that I actually like and enjoy.
Okay.
Pixar Pier.
Oh, favorite.
Okay, but this is, I would argue, is a controversial take because when this first opened, I was in the camp as well that I didn't like it that much.
Yeah,
I thought it was like a cheaper overlay. I was like, this is cheap, man.
Can you believe him saying
I know.
this right now?
I know. So when it first opened, I was not super excited. I thought Incredicoaster was lame. I thought, I hadn't experienced Lamplight Lounge yet, so I was kind of like, okay, another restaurant, big whoop. Emotional Whirlwind, I was like, okay, they just reskinned Flix Flyers. Like, they just took a ride, moved it in the park, not a big deal. So I was a little disappointed in the transformation of Paradise Pier to Pixar Pier. Now, let me tell you, I'm eating my words now because I love it now. It's so good. It's such a cool little part of the park, and Incredicoaster has grown on me. Riding at night is superior. I learned that because we rode it in the daytime for our first ride. I was like, this is lame. Second time around, you saw the lights. You saw I could smell it better for some reason, like
and
the cookie part.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the front. You get to see a lot of the additions better in the front seat. So yeah, Pixar Pier all around, I think, was a great change for DCA.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely have to admit, when they first revealed Pixar Pier, the Incredicoaster seemed kind of lame because I'm like, okay, they just added a couple things and painted it. But now, same thing that you mentioned. I love riding it at night. Like, I can't imagine the park without it. Mm-hmm. And Pixar Pier is my one absolute favorite of DCA. I love walking around there with you. Again, people who have listened to our podcast for a while, we talk about it all the time. And I'm just going to add a little plug. go get the chocolate caramels over at
Good
Bing
grief.
Bong's because it's going to change your life, okay?
It will.
You just need to do it. And by the way, on top of that, we had some friends over on Instagram, Hey Mickey Co. They're over in Walt Disney World, and they just tried the caramels.
They did.
And they loved it.
Yeah, so they mentioned us. Is that what you say? I'm out of touch with the Instagrams.
Yes.
They tagged us.
They mentioned us on stories.
They did and said that they enjoyed it as well. And we chatted about it, and they were big fans of the chocolate caramels.
Yes.
So we've got another member of the chocolate caramel gang.
Yeah. So if you ever tried the chocolate caramels, tag us on stories or whatever, and let us know if you like them because they're our favorite. And go check out Hey Mickey Co. They have a great YouTube channel and are always on Instagram posting stories and Disney content. So some of our little Disney friends.
Killing it. Yeah. So caramels, Pixar Pier.
Love it.
Go together like peanut butter and jelly. Yes. All right. What's one of your likes?
So you mentioned it towards the beginning, but Aladdin's Oasis.
Sorry, yeah, kind of.
No, it's totally fine. Getting transformed to Tropical Hideaway. That was one of the best flips.
It was
ever.
Because you know what I noticed when I kind of snuck a peek at your list before we started recording, and I saw this on your list, and I was like, I don't ever remember even going into Aladdin's Oasis. I mean, I think I went in there on my first trip to Disneyland in 2005.
Yeah, I think I've only been one time as well,
and I've never returned after that.
But a little, I don't want to call it a hint, but a little sneak peek. No, not a sneak peek.
Just say it.
Kind of like a little hit tip.
Okay.
Disney left in Aladdin's Oasis, there was a magic carpet on the ground.
Yes.
That's still in Tropical Hideaway. So
Where?
You can see that. It's like right at the entrance, I think.
What?
I'm almost positive.
We need to verify this in our next trip.
Okay, I'll verify it. I'm almost positive.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. So that's still on the ground. It's really pretty.
Cool. No, that's a great. Caitlyn loves getting her Dole Whip. I mean, controversial take. We don't even go to, what do you call it anymore to get it? That
The
little cart
Tahitian
there?
one?
No. Only the lame people.
Well, you can't
wait in
get the
line there.
swirl there. You can
can't?
only get pineapple at that one. So we always go to Tropical Hideaway.
We like the swirls. We're a little fancy. We like our swirls only, please. All right. Let me throw another like out there of a Disneyland change. Tarzan's Treehouse. Now, them removing that huge stump right in the middle of the walkway. Now, I know you're going to be like, it's not even finished yet, bro. You don't even know what they did with it. I just like it so far. I don't care if it's even just they cut part of Tarzan's Treehouse out and it's still Tarzan themed. I don't care if they theme it to whatever. That change was awesome because I did not realize how much that inhibited traffic, the flow of traffic. It opened it up so much, way less of a bottleneck there. The people right there would just get so smushed and you'd be like smashed to the side right there next to that restaurant. What is that right there?
Bengal Barbecue.
No. The one on the right, walking into New Orleans Square on your right-hand side. We got barbecue there.
We got barbecue?
We did.
In New Orleans Square?
We did.
Oh,
or I
idea.
got it there on a work trip.
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, never mind.
There's-
Riverbell.
Riverbell Terrace.
Yeah, let's go.
That's New Orleans Square,
Yes,
technically?
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah. So, anyways, I was walking. When you'd get smashed up against that rail all the time because of just the flow of people. So I'd be like dragging my foot against the brick right there. So yeah, that was a good change.
I love it. And I'm very excited to see what they do with it. Again, we have no idea what it's getting themed to, but we experienced the walkway last time we were there and it was so nice.
So nice.
That's where we saw Orlando Bloom.
It is where we saw Orlando Bloom. Orlando, if you're listening, how you doing, buddy? All right, Caitlyn.
So I'm going to take a trip over to Fantasyland. I really like the recent change to Snow White's Scary Adventures, which is now Snow White's Enchanted Wish.
Yes.
I used to think that ride was okay. Now, do you call it a remodel? Not a remodel. What's it called? Refurb.
Yeah.
The inside of it is so beautiful and is specifically
like a retheming,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because again, they changed the name and everything inside. But there is a scene in Snow White where you go through and there's like greenery and lights twinkling at sort of the end.
Yeah, you love that part.
It is my favorite part of the entire ride. But just the little enhancements they did with, the screens and like you can tell that they've added more light, so it's not so dark.
Yeah, I think they're like that. I don't know if they're LED or fiber optic or whatever, but when they start lighting up, it's pretty.
Yeah,
crazy.
It looks good.
Yeah,
so I really like that.
It's when the prince smooches Snow White.
Yes,
smooch.
You're so weird. What's your number 3?
Oh, it is the castle color change.
This was a good one.
So again, at first, I'm such a critic, man. But when it first came out, I was like, I don't like it. It looks like a cartoon. I don't know. I thought it was like the colors were so bold when they changed that roof color to like that deep blue and the castle was even pinker, right? So it used to be like a pale They were just really pale colors.
It was very pale pink and very pale, like almost
blue.
like an aqua blue kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah, you're right. It had like kind of some greenish tint.
Yeah,
now
so-
it's like blue as blue gets.
Yeah, and there's like, they added like the
Sparkle
shimmery
stuff,
magic stuff all
yes.
over it. It's beautiful.
It's so good. So again, at first I was a hater. Disneyland was better than me because after just a few months of seeing it, I like it better than the previous.
No, that's
So yeah,
perfect.
it's beautiful.
That was on my list too.
Yeah, it looks
I
really
loved
good.
it. My next one is Matterhorn. The new Yeti is super scary.
Oh yeah.
I love, again, he's way big. What was the other Yeti called?
Harold.
Harold.
I mean, is he still called Harold?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Old Harold, if he is
Yeah.
currently called Harold, is the new one is terrifying.
Yes.
He's huge. They have cranked the volume in the Matterhorn.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like the Yeti is literally trying to tear you to pieces.
Yeah, when you're going up the lift.
The main
Hill?
lift, right when you get on the ride, and
Yeah.
the Yeti's trying to like break through the glass. That part is so loud and terrifying. I remember the first time we went on that, I was like, "Oh my god!"
I know.
But no, I love the change. It's
Yeah.
so much better, and it's scary, and
Which is kind of like crazy. That happened a long time ago. Yeah.
but it's just a little like, "Oh yeah, do you remember that?"
Mm-hmm.
Because old Harold was getting a little rough.
A little rough. It was just a flashing light, and you're like, oh no, he's chasing me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right. My last actually, I had kind of a shorter list. You have a longer one than me. Mobile ordering. Now, again, I don't know if this is considered an addition. I kind of cheated here maybe, but mobile ordering is legit.
I love
That
it.
is, we use it 98% of the time, and it works well most of the time. The only place where we've experienced consistent problems is, I almost call it Taste Pilot's Grill. Wow.
Whoa.
Just aged myself a
Well,
little
that's
bit.
a change right there. Yeah.
Smoke jumpers. Yeah, so the burger place over in Grizzly Peak, that place 2 or 3 times now, we waited 45 minutes for our food. Again, I have an allergy, so it usually takes a little longer, but maybe
Not
5
that.
minutes longer than
Yeah.
a normal order. This was insane. And I walked up and I was like, hey man, not to be a jerk, but we've been waiting 40 minutes. Oh, let me check on that. And then they say, oh, something's wrong with our system.
Yeah.
And they spit it out.
It's
So
weird.
I don't
It's
know what
happened
goes
a
on.
couple times.
Yeah, but 99% of the time it works fantastic, and you don't have to wait in line. You can go shop while you wait for your food, and it's just ready.
I love it.
It's a great.
I don't know if that restaurant's my favorite anymore.
I know we went last time, our last trip, which was in June, and they changed the menu up on us again. They used to have a bacon cheeseburger. It was delish. Now I don't know what it is. I don't
It's
even
a
remember.
a double cheeseburger. But
And
the
the
meat,
meat was
is
gross.
really gross. It was super dry. It didn't taste good. The fries aren't waffle cut anymore.
Yes, they got crinkle cut now,
Which
which
again,
I love.
They were good.
I love me a crinkle cut fry,
But the
but
waffle
fries were so much better.
Yeah. That's a
Ooh,
bummer.
smoke jumpers,
I know.
change it back.
That was our favorite. Especially, again, for those who listen to the podcast, we love sitting outside by Soren and eating a cheeseburger.
Yes,
It's one of our favorites.
I think we have to change it up.
It's a bummer.
All right, Caitlin, what's your next
Okay, so next up, over at DCA, they're with the retheming of Pixar Pier and World of Color coming back. Disney added lights on the Incredicoaster to kind of flash during World of Color.
Yes.
And they are beautiful.
They are beautiful, and I think they added more. So they used to have them.
They did, yeah.
They were much dimmer,
increased.
and it was maybe 25% of the lights that are on there now. Now it's like a full-on light show on the coaster as well as World of Color going on.
Yeah, so next time you're watching World of Color, look up at the coaster. It's towards the end they do it.
It's gorgeous.
And it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite things.
LED now, so they're super bright.
Super bright.
And better for the environment.
Exactly.
Change the LED, folks.
Yes. And then lastly, over at Disneyland, a little Haunted Mansion change a couple years ago was adding the Hatbox Ghost.
Yes, and you thought of this. I didn't. I'm a loser of a Haunted Mansion fan. Fantastic addition.
I'm very surprised this was on your list because I knew this was one of your favorite things. We went down there just to see this ride.
Yeah,
Remember
I know.
that? But yeah, I loved it. It was such a Disney classic back in the day, and they took it away because they were having technical difficulties. And when they brought it back, it was such a cool thing.
Yeah, there was a whole lore around it. They thought that, so this Hatbox Ghost, it was even no one even believed people that said this thing existed.
Yeah.
There was one picture, and it was from maybe the first few weeks of the ride being opened, and they had to take it down because the effect didn't work very well. And so there was always this creepy Hatbox Ghost thing, and some people didn't believe it was there because of one picture. I don't know. At the end of the day, it existed. They brought it back, and that effect has held up. It looks amazing still.
I love it. And the lighting's perfect on it.
So good.
And again, it's
Just
right
kinda
when you're-
scary.
Yeah, and it's leading up to the graveyard scene. So it's kind of like, ooh. It's so good. I love Haunted Mansion. Again, Haunted Mansion kick
Yes,
right now.
you love her
so,
right now.
I love it.
Are those your likes?
I think so.
Yeah,
But, I think
you-
we have a couple dislikes though.
We do have a couple dislikes, but you did have a couple. We doubled up on the likes, so I think
Yeah.
you cut that out of your list. Okay, so let me start with a dislike of mine. And again, not being too critical, there's just some things that I prefer the old way, right?
Yeah, we're not trying to be negative Nancy's right
No,
now.
not
It's
at all.
just little things.
Not at all.
Yeah.
First one, Star Tours. Now, I can't even ride this ride anymore, so I shouldn't have a giant opinion on it. But I grew up with that original Star Tours ride with Rex as the pilot, and it was the same video every single time, but it was iconic. It was epic. A buddy of mine had I don't even know how he got it. It was probably, I don't know how he got it. I don't know if it was legally obtained, but he had the audio from the attraction,
Okay.
and he got it on a disc. So really quick, story time. Growing up, I was never allowed to use, if you, not older folk, but nearly 30 years old folk, like Caitlyn and I.
I'm like us almost.
Yeah, us old folk.
Yeah.
LimeWire, if you remember that, I was never allowed to use it.
Oh.
My dad was like, you were not stealing music in this household. And I was never allowed to burn discs from my friends or received burned discs. He was like, that's stealing, bro. Would you walk into Target and grab a CD off the rack? I appreciate the lesson. My dad was trying to teach me digital stealing is the same as physical. I get it.
Yeah.
But I was never allowed. So I felt like this was contraband. I snuck it in my house. My friend burned this disc for me of the Star Tours attraction audio.
You're an OG fan right now.
I'm an OG fan. I would take this burned disc that was contraband in my household, and I would play it in my CD player. Me and my brother would act like we were on the ride on my bed, and we would lean back and forth and act like, bzz, 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 and Rex was like, ugh. I loved this ride.
Okay.
So anyways, that's why the
It's
fanaticism.
nostalgic to
It
you.
is. It's totally nostalgic.
Yeah.
So the new one probably is better, right? The tech is better. The video is clearer, right? It's HD. But the original just has a special place in my heart. And C-3PO as the pilot. I mean, I love C-3PO as a character. He's kind of lame as the pilot. Rex was better.
I wish we could ride that because we both experienced motion sickness on that ride. So it kind of
I love that ride, but yes, we get super sick.
We haven't been able to go on in years.
I know. We sound 6 years old right now.
I know, but hey, it's
It's a reality.
Yeah,
I know. All right, my next dislike is, and I think everyone's going to agree with this one. I mean, it's just reality. Magic Key program. So going from annual passes to Magic Key.
Yeah.
Major downgrade on our end, right? On the consumer end of things, absolute downgrade. For Disney, this couldn't be better because now they have a reservation system in place. They know how many folks are attending on a day.
Right.
So they can staff accordingly. They can order food accordingly. So yeah, and they took away some stuff like we get, I think only 10% off on merch now.
Instead of 15.
We used to get 15%. So there's just some definite stuff they took away. And that's just reality, I think, of being a Disney fan. There's a lot of stuff getting taken away from us.
Yeah.
And whatever. But speaking of the Magic Key program, we are supposed to renew in the next week. And there is no word on the new Magic Key program. If they're redoing it, if we're allowed to renew, we know nothing.
Yeah, and it's kind of frustrating, I'm not going to lie, because again, we have a family trip in September, and again, our pass ends the beginning of September, and we're supposed to be going towards the end, and we're not able to get park reservations. And again, everyone's like, "Well, just renew when you can." Well, the problem with that is there are people that are going to be able to renew hopefully prior to us.
Yesterday was the day it opened up. Supposed to be 40 days.
No one has heard anything. No one's been able to renew. But dates for the weekends in September because of Oogie Boogie and Halloween, they're already going. So now where it's kind of jeopardizing our family trip. So it's making me really nervous because
it's not fun. Because ticket holders right now are able to book.
And that's wide open. I checked that calendar.
Okay.
But for the people who currently have Magic Keys who aren't renewing in September,
got it.
They're all open dibs on.
Dang.
So it's kind of making me a little nervous. So I'm really hoping that they get to it because I want to make sure.
To give them money. It is kind of crazy that guys, you've had months to figure this out.
Right.
And I'm sitting here waiting to give you my credit card information and pay for this. Take my money, Disney.
Right.
And
yeah. And of course it's all the Saturdays. So I'm kind of I'm just getting nervous. So because I'm sure everyone's been there where you're like, well, I can't go now because of the reservation system. So I'm hoping that they come out with something, but it's been kind of tricky.
It has.
And we've talked about it a couple times for the past trip. So
yep.
I'm hoping it fixes itself
exactly.
a
I'm hoping the new system or whatever they come out with will be a little better for us. And I'm sure it's going to come with a price increase. It's just the reality of it. But anywho, that was definitely a downgrade for us.
Yeah.
Caitlyn, what's the next one?
Okay, this one's a little controversial. I'm not the biggest fan of the Christmas shop on Main Street.
Oh, crap.
And here's why. I love the idea of it. I love the one at Disney World. But I feel like Disneyland specifically, again, we don't go to the Disney World one all the time, but the Disneyland one doesn't update their Christmas stuff. So I feel like every time you walk in, it's the same Christmas decor all year long. So you know what I'm saying? It'd be different if they were like, hey, there's a new ornament this month, or here's a new Christmas light, or here's a new mug. Like they're constantly updating the stuff in there. It's just, I feel like it's the same all year.
Yeah, and the other weird thing about it, and again, if you're confusing this is called, what is it called again? Plaza Point?
Plaza Point.
Okay, so this is the new Christmas shop that replaced the Kodak Photo Center.
Yes.
On Main Street, right there on the corner, next to the Red Wagon corn dog thing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it is bizarre. Caitlyn correctly stated that they don't update Christmas merch throughout the year. And also, they just have normal merch in half the store.
Yeah, and my other thing is, if you go around all the stores like we do normally at Disney, they have the same Christmas stuff in some of the stores. So I'm like, I don't feel like it's as like,
there's nothing exclusive there.
Yeah. And again, it makes me not want to go in it because when they first announced, I'm like, yes. I'm like, they're going to give you new merch throughout the year, new Christmas decor. But the 3 times that we've already gone in there throughout this whole year, there's been nothing. It's all the same stuff.
Correct. The only, I think, exclusive thing you can do there is you can have the custom ornament made.
Right. But I'm like, I'm not going to do that every trip.
You don't do that in July?
Well, Christmas in July for some people.
Okay.
I love it.
All right.
But yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Again, I love the idea. We are huge Christmas fans. Christmas fans in this house. And so I just wish that they would update it a little bit more merch-wise.
I agree.
So.
All right. My next dislike is the change from Innoventions to Star Wars Launch Bay. What a downgrade. Innoventions was awesome. Yes, it was dated. Sure, it was weird. It was bizarre. It was a weird spot. That whole building's weird. Everything about it is weird, but leave it weird. Now it's just an extension of like merch. I can buy that over in the Star Trader. I can buy that in Galaxy's Edge. And it's like used as character meet and greets. Mm-hmm. It's even weirder now. And actually, we don't even step foot in it. I haven't been in there in over a year.
The last time you went was with my little sister, right?
Well, Innoventions.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I took her in there when she was little. But Star Wars Launch Bay, I think the last time we went in there was when it first opened.
There was a rumor, I don't know if you saw it this weekend. Again, a rumor, everyone listening to this, that they're going to demolish that building.
They better not, because it's nostalgic.
I just read it. I think Disneyland News Today put it up. Again, I don't know how. Again, it's rumor. That's no one said anything about that. But
so I did learn something from Mr. Chris at Provost Park Pass, and that the second story is being used for cast member training.
Oh, really?
Do you know that? Yeah.
I thought that was above the Star Trader.
No.
Oh.
No.
That's crazy.
Yep. I think I'm right.
Okay.
Now that you said that, I'm like, am I down? No, I think you said Innoventions.
I don't remember.
I think you said, the second story of Innoventions right now is cast member training.
I love their podcast.
Yes.
It's so good.
Well, it's actually on the YouTube channel.
Oh, that too.
Anywho, Caitlyn.
Yes. My last dislike is, I feel like everyone's on the same page with me on this, but the random Avengers theming over by Monsters, Inc. and DCA. So for
the half extension of Avengers Campus.
Yeah. So again, you're walking down Buena Vista Street. You're going to, what do they call it? Hollywood
Land.
Hollywood Land.
It used to be called something else, but now it's called Hollywood Land.
Yeah. So you get to the end of the street. You take a right. You go into Avengers Campus technically because Guardians is over there.
Yep.
You take a left. It's the random like
so weird.
Spider-Man looking like picture area. Then on the right, there's the jet.
There's a jet coming out of
Is it Captain America?
No.
See, I don't know Avengers
Captain
very well.
Marvel?
Something.
Brie Larson's character.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's over there. Then there's Monsters, Inc. There's a stage that people perform at. And then there's Stage 17, which has Avengers
Marvel
stuff in
merch, yeah.
So, Marvel. I keep saying Avengers. I just don't understand like what's going on with that whole
area. It doesn't
area.
know what it's supposed to be. It really doesn't.
Yeah. Again, I get the theming for Marvel and Avengers Campus, but I'm like, why is that circulating over by a random stage? A Monsters Inc. ride, a beverage area. There's a taco truck back there. It's so random.
It's really weird. So I think the 2 lands that need the most help, one land in DCA, one land in Tomorrowland. In Disneyland. I just tipped my hat. Tomorrowland and Disneyland needs some help, right? It doesn't know what it is still. You've got like old rides that their tracks are still up that haven't been used in years. It's just weird, right? And then over in DCA, yes, Hollywood Land needs some help.
Hopefully.
It's rough.
It hasn't been touched in a long time.
Hasn't.
But we'll see.
That's a good one. Good point. All right, I've got one last one too, and that is, again, I think everyone is in agreement with this, the Max Pass to Genie Plus change.
I know.
So Max Pass was legit. It was an optional service. So Fast Pass was a free service. If you had a ticket and you could scan it physically at one of these booths, then excuse the fighter jet flying over our house right now if you can hear that.
It's so
Good
loud.
grief. Sounds like Top Gun's filming above our house.
Top Gun.
Top Gun. Is that the theme song now?
Danger Zone.
My mind is going. Max Pass to Genie. Yes. So Max Pass was an optional service. So yes, if you were physically in front of a Fast Pass station, you could get a Fast Pass and use it. And then if you're like, hey, you know what? I don't want to trek 10 miles fetching Fast Passes all day. I can choose to spend $10 or $15 more and digitally get these things, and you could ride every single ride 7 times a day if you wanted.
Loved it.
It was amazing. It was worth every single penny.
Oh, yeah.
Now they've replaced it with Genie Plus, and it is not as good. Now, let me tell you, Disneyland's version of Genie Plus is far better than the East Coast version. You can't ride any rides over on the East Coast. They're always booked, weird times. You don't get Disney Photo Pass included, which we do. So I won't complain too much because the West Coast version is superior, I would argue.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But no, you get way less value for your money, and now you can't even get Fast Passes as a free option.
It's a bummer. And it's expensive.
It's really expensive for a family, I can't imagine.
I mean, again, we do participate in it at least once a trip because...
Don't say that.
Well, it's just true because, again, the parks have been extremely busy. And
we do.
We usually do it once a trip because I'm not doing it every day. It's $40 a day.
I know.
Technically. So it's just a bummer. I mean, again, I get that they're trying to get just a little more cash flow on it, but it is tricky.
It is. So yeah, I mean, again, not trying to be too negative here. We love the parks. At the end of the day, we love it.
Oh, yeah.
And we go all the time, but we would love to see it improved. And also some things you just don't want touched. Mm-hmm. And we also listed some likes to balance it out.
Like the Tower of Terror sign in Walt Disney World.
Whoa. All right.
Just kidding.
Thank you so much for listening. That is the end of our episode.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And again, let us know if we missed anything. If you have any favorites or dislikes, whatever it may be, let us know on Instagram. Send us a DM.
Do it.
Let's go back and forth on it.
Yeah. And speaking of Instagram, if you don't follow us over there already, follow us over at Market House Podcast and Twitter at Market House Pod. And it's a blast talking with you guys over on both platforms. We just chat it up, talk Disney, talk everything. And it's fun just connecting with everyone all over. It's crazy. There are Disney fans all over the U.S. and that is so cool. Mm-hmm. So neat.
I love it.
Yeah, it's fun. Consider leaving a review like we've mentioned before on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That would be a great help to us, and we'd appreciate that very much. Join us next week for another episode. But in the meantime, have a great week.
Bye.